The stars above Earth were calm, quiet, and open. There were no warships in orbit. No fighters flying in the sky. The space stations were small, slow, and old. And the docks, those giant platforms floating in space, were empty. Nothing moved. Nothing glowed, nothing buzzed, just Earth, blue and green, spinning slowly, looking peaceful. But the galaxy was not peaceful. Far away. Dark fleets moved from system to system. Alien empires were growing stronger, stealing planets, breaking treaties. The Galactic Council had sent many warnings. They said, humans must build a fleet, or they will be destroyed. But Earth stayed. Silent to the other races, humans looked foolish. They were clever, yes, and brave, but still so slow. Where is their armada? Asked the Crovy general, where are their dreadnoughts? Laughed the Zix warlord. They still fly with fuel and steel, not antimatter and thought. Said the Elvari ambassador, they believed Earth had no defense, no secret power, no chance. At all. At the edge of Earth's solar system, a small alien scout ship floated. Its pilot, a young Skarn named Divok, watched Earth through a long-range scope. He saw the empty docks, the old satellites, and the weak communication lines. He shook his head slowly and whispered, "There is nothing." He sent a message to his fleet commander. "Planet is undefended. No signs of military ships." The commander responded fast. "Begin approach. Send full report to the Galactic Council. Humans are vulnerable." The message spread across the stars like fire. And the council gathered in their golden halls to decide. Inside the great chamber of the Galactic Council, alien voices filled the air. Tall beings with glowing skin, scaled warriors with sharp teeth, and cloud-like creatures of light all shouted together. They are alone. They have no fleet. Now is the time. One voice tried to warn them. An old, blind ambassador from the Year race stood up slowly. He said, "Do not trust what your eyes see." He spoke of old Earth legends, strange signals, and something sleeping deep below, but no one listened. They laughed at him and waved their hands. Humans are not dangerous. They are just small, back on Earth. People went on with their lives. They farmed, they taught, they built, and they played. They knew the council watched. They knew the armadas moved. But the governments stayed quiet and the skies stayed empty. In a desert in Australia, under the hot sun, a strange facility stood. It looked broken, old, and full of rust. No guards, no lights, just wind and dust. But deep under that desert, hidden for over 50 years, something was sleeping. A machine built by the best minds of Earth, powered by forbidden science and ancient tech. It was not a ship, not really. It was not a base, not quite. It was something new. Something the galaxy had never seen. They called it Project Judgment 1. Not many knew it existed. Not even most leaders on Earth. It was born in secret, trained by war, fed by fear, and guided by one rule: if the galaxy ever came for Earth, Earth would not run. The machine had no crew yet. Its pilot had not been chosen. Its weapons were silent, and its engine cold, but deep inside, sensors began to blink. Old codes were received. Warnings were triggered. The alien scout signal had reached it, and the machine started to wake up. A hum moved through the metal walls underground. Tiny lights came on, one by one, a voice calm female. And human whispered from the dark, hostile contact confirmed. Preparing system boot. On the surface, the sand blew across the broken ground. Above in the sky, a few humans looked up. They didn't know why, but they felt it. Something was coming, and something was rising, back in the Galactic Council. A message arrived from a military base near Earth. Fleet is moving toward Sol. System, all systems go. Another message from a Zix spy said. Humans are still not reacting. The council members smiled, pleased with their plan. They thought Earth had no choice, no power, no ships, but they were wrong, so very wrong. And in the heart of that sleeping machine, a signal pulsed once. A voice from deep inside whispered, "I see them." The Galactic Council had made up its mind. They believed Earth was weak. A soft world of music and dreams, they thought humans. Had no strength, no fleet, and no will to fight. So they voted. 27 systems against 2 Earth would be pacified. They said, the fleets would move in, take control, and make humans follow the Council's rule in secret. They launched a plan called Operation Silence. It was not a war, they said, just a preventive measure. But everyone knew what it really meant: conquest. 12 fleets with over 150 warships were sent to Earth's system. These were the strongest ships in the known galaxy. They had energy shields, hypercannons, and elite crews. They thought Earth would surrender without firing a shot. Back on Earth, nothing moved in the sky. There were no new ships. No warnings on the news. People worked, laughed, and slept as always. But deep underground, in the old desert base, something was moving. The floor shook gently, dust falling from metal pipes above. Machines long silent began to glow. Project Judgment 1 had started its wake-up cycle. Its mind half artificial, half human was coming online. It had no face, no voice, no name known to the world. But it had memories, training, pain, and purpose. And now it had a mission, in a dark room near the machine's core. A woman sat alone, her eyes closed, wires connected to her spine and temples. Her name was Captain Myra Tanaka. She had been trained since the age of 5 for this moment. She was the pilot, the soul of Judgment 1. She felt the machine's heartbeat as if it was her own, and she whispered into the dark, "I'm ready." The Council ships entered Earth's system on the edge of Neptune's orbit. They moved slow at first, cautious but confident. Scouts scanned for signs of resistance. There were none. No human ships, no space mines, no defense platforms. Just planets and quiet skies. They laughed. "It's just as we expected," said Commander Grax of the Crovy Fleet. "They are children with toys," said Admiral Bellows of the Zix Legion. But one ship, far in the rear, caught something strange, a signal, very weak, hidden in background noise. It repeated in binary code. "You came." They thought it was a joke, a leftover signal from some broken satellite. But then a pulse swept across the solar system. Every alien ship's lights flickered. A wave of static crashed through their sensors. And then, silence. Seconds later, something rose from Earth's atmosphere. It was not a fleet, not even a squadron. It was one single object, but it moved fast, faster than any of them expected. It left a glowing trail as it passed the moon and raced toward them. "Is that a ship?" asked a junior officer on the Elveri carrier. "No, it's too big." Another said, "It's too fast." Someone else whispered, and yet it came closer. It was shaped like a spear, long and dark. Covered in shifting plates and glowing lines, its core pulsed like a heartbeat. Its energy unreadable. This was Judgment 1. Inside it, Mira opened her eyes. She saw what it saw, felt what it felt. Each ship in the alien fleet was a light in her mind. Each target a threat. She didn't feel fear or hate. She felt purpose. She whispered, "This is not your sky." Judgment 1 didn't slow down. It didn't send a warning. It moved like lightning, and the first alien warship exploded without a sound. The Council fleets panicked. "What was that?" shouted Grax, who fired. "What kind of weapon is this?" yelled Bellows. But Judgment 1 had already vanished from their sensors. It reappeared above another ship, tearing through its hull with a beam of light. No warning, no mercy. The Council made their second mistake. They tried to talk. They sent a message on all channels. "Humans, "Stop, we only came to help." But the reply they got was only one line from a calm human voice: "Go back." Then 5 more ships were destroyed in seconds. Not one could fight back in time, their weapons locked. Shields failed, engines froze. Judgment 1 had already learned their systems. It didn't just fight it, adapt it. The Council fleet scattered, trying to escape. Some jumped to warp, others hid behind moons. But Judgment 1 followed. Silent, endless, unstoppable. And in the chamber of the Galactic Council, fear took root. One elder stood up, his voice shaking. "You fools," he said, "you thought they needed a fleet." He turned to the others. But humans only needed one. In the cold silence of space, ships burned, metal twisted, flames danced. And the stars watched in silence. The Galactic Council's proud fleets had entered the Sol system with laughter. Now, their laughter was gone. Screams echoed through channels. Before cutting to static, one by one, ships vanished from the radar, but Earth was still quiet. No alarms sounded, no armies marched. The people of Earth still walked their streets, watched the skies, and wondered they didn't know what was happening above their heads. Not yet, because Judgment 1 worked in silence. It was not like other ships. It had no bridge, no crew running in panic. It didn't need engineers or gunners or fuel tanks. Its power came from something ancient, something Earth had found deep below the Pacific Ocean years ago. A dark crystal, humming with strange pulses. No one ever understood it completely, but it listened when humans spoke. And when they asked it to protect them, agreed. Now, inside the heart of Judgment 1, the crystal glowed. Energy moved like water through veins of light. Panels shifted, weapons changed shape. The ship learned with every second it studied. Each alien weapon, each shield, each movement. And it made a simple choice. They were not a threat. They were a problem to solve. Myra Tanaka floated in the core chamber. Wires connected her body to the ship's brain. Her eyes were open, but her body didn't move. She was not just the pilot, she was the ship now. Her thoughts guided it. Her instincts aimed it. Every breath she took made Judgment 1 stronger. Faster, sharper, the alien fleets had called her a myth. Some believed she never existed. Others thought humans had no one brave enough to fight alone. But Myra had been raised in silence, trained in shadows. She never saw daylight until she turned 16. She never knew peace-only preparation, and now she was awake. A lone Zix cruiser tried to flee past Saturn's rings. Its engines glowed, shields on full power. But Judgment 1 blinked across the void. 1 second, it was near Earth. The next it was there. A quiet hum, a beam of violet light, and the Zix cruiser vanished. The war was over before it had begun, but Judgment 1 was not finished. It circled the solar system, scanning, watching. Warning, each surviving ship was marked, each was spared for now, but they knew they could not return. On the ground, a few human commanders were finally informed. Inside a small control room under Geneva, a man in uniform stared at a single red dot on the screen. "That's it?" he asked, voice shaking. "That's our defense." An old woman beside him nodded. "Not a fleet, not a weapon," she said. Just one promise, one judgment. The Council scrambled to hide their shame. They shut off news broadcasts, destroyed evidence, silenced witnesses, but rumors spread. Across the stars like wind through fire, whispers of a ship that moved faster than thought, a human mind linked to something not of this galaxy. A war fought with silence and ended in moments. One station near the edge of the Andromeda Gate received a message. It was short, unsigned, untraceable. Only one line. "Tell your leaders, Earth does not need warning shots." On a small moon near the Zix capital, survivors from the fleet sat in silence. One captain refused to speak, his hands still shaking. Another carved strange symbols into the walls. Over and over one eye, one line, one ship. Some said they saw the face of a woman in the dark before their ship fell. Some said they heard a voice, soft, calm, and human, saying, "You were warned." Judgment 1 returned to Earth's atmosphere like a falling star. It didn't land, it didn't dock. It disappeared into the clouds over the Pacific. No one saw where it went. Not even Earth's own satellites could track it. It simply faded from the sky, and Mira, deep inside the machine, closed her eyes again, the wires loosened, the lights dimmed, her voice echoed in the empty chamber. "Wake me when they forget." Earth was quiet again. Peaceful skies, gentle winds, blue oceans, but something now watched from beneath. Waiting, listening, ready, and though the stars above were full of power, armies, and fear, they all now shared one silent truth. Humans didn't need fleets. Because they had already built the end of war, the stars were quiet. But fear filled the space between them. Ships drifted, broken and dark, their flames slowly dying. The Council's mighty fleet, once proud and unstoppable, was now silent wreckage. And Judgment 1 hovered alone in the dark. No sound, no signal. Just a glowing shadow with eyes that never closed. The first strike had come without warning. No lights, no war drums, no grand speeches. Just one flash of movement, tanned, then destruction. The alien commanders never had a chance to react. One moment they were shouting orders. The next, nothing. Myra Tanaka had not screamed, not roared, not begged. She had simply focused, breathed, and moved. She guided Judgment 1 like a limb, like a part of her soul. Every calculation was instant, every choice clean. She saw through the eyes of the ship, felt the weight of every star. And when she chose to strike, was final, the Alvari battlecruiser. Proud and tall, had been the first. It had 12 shield layers, heavy armor, and advanced gravity weapons. But Judgment 1 didn't fire missiles or lasers. It bent space around the cruiser, twisted the metal like paper, and the ship disappeared into a ball of red light. The crew didn't even scream. They didn't have time. The next ship tried to run an old Crovy destroyer with fast engines. It pushed its thrusters to the limit, running full speed toward Jupiter's moons, but the ship didn't get far. Judgment 1 was already waiting near Ganymede. It moved like it knew where they would go before they moved. It fired no shots, no torpedoes. It simply crashed into the destroyer without a sound, and only Judgment 1 came out the other side. Panic spread fast through the Council's remaining fleet. They had never seen a ship like this. They didn't even know how to fight it. Some ships powered down, pretending to be dead. Others sent surrender codes, even though no one answered. Inside Judgment 1, Mira watched it all. She could feel their fear, their desperation. She felt something deep inside her stir. Was it anger? Pity? No, it was duty. These ships had come to destroy Earth, to kill her people. She would not let them. Back on Earth, most people still didn't know what was happening. The sky was still blue, the air still fresh, but in hidden bases, a few humans watched the data come in. Red dots on black screens vanished, one by one, and somewhere deep under the ocean. A general whispered, "She's fighting alone, on the edge of the battlefield." A Varkonian dreadnought powered up its main cannon. The ship was the size of a city, covered in armor thicker than mountains. It had destroyed stars before, erased moons from maps. Its crew believed it was the most powerful weapon in the galaxy. And they were wrong. Mira saw it from across the solar system. She blinked once and Judgment 1 vanished. When it reappeared, it was directly above the dreadnought. The alien captain had only enough time to look up and gasp, and then the top of his ship peeled away like cloth. Judgment 1 didn't break the dreadnought to unmate it. The gravity around the ship twisted, warped, and reversed. The metal screamed as it folded into itself, and the mighty ship became a silent cloud of glowing dust. No warship had ever done this before. Not in all of history. The Council had brought 150 ships. Now, less than 40 remained, and they were running, hiding, begging for help. But there was no one to help them, and Mira didn't chase them. She watched them scatter across space. She let them run. Because fear was the message now, she opened a secure channel 1 only the Council could hear. Her voice was calm, soft, and cold. "You crossed the line," she said. "You brought war to a peaceful sky. You thought humans were weak. You thought wrong." Her words echoed in the ears of the Council leaders, and though they were light years away, their hands trembled. The oldest Council member creature made of gas and light turned off his communicator and said nothing. Because there was nothing left to say, the strike was done. The lesson had been delivered. Not with speeches, but with silence. Not with armies, but with one. And as judgment, one turned away. Heading back toward Earth, the stars lit up behind it. Like a crown, no victory song played, no celebration began, just the wind of space. And the fear left behind. The first strike had ended the war, not with a battle, but with a warning. The galaxy had seen wars before, long battles between great empires. Fleets crashing into fleets, stars burning for years, but never like this, never so fast, never so quiet, never with just one ship. The survivors of the Council's fleets scattered. Into deep space, some jumped through wormholes. Others turned off their power to hide. They didn't speak of tactics or honor anymore. They whispered, like children hiding in the dark, and all of them spoke the same name, Judgment 1, in the farthest corner of the sector on a cold moon base. Captain Villick sat in a dark room. His hands shook as he held a cup. His eyes were wide, his voice small. "I saw it blink," he said. "One moment it was in front of us, the next it was behind. No sound, no warning, just cold." Others sat around him, quiet, broken. Some had been proud warriors. Now they looked like ghosts. One of them asked, "Did it speak to you?" Villick nodded slowly. "Yes," he said, "not with words. But I felt it in my mind. Across the stars, strange things started to happen. Children on far planets woke from sleep, screaming of silver eyes and metal wings. Elders dreamed of a machine with a human heart, and some psychics, tuned to the deep threads of space, wept without knowing why. Fear had become a storm moving through space, and the name Earth was now spoken only in whispers. In the Council chambers, chaos ruled. The once proud leaders now argued like frightened animals. "What is it?" One shouted, "Where did it come from?" Another cried, "Why didn't we know?" The old year ambassador, the one they had laughed at, sat in silence. Finally, he spoke. "I told you," he said. "I told you they would not be weak forever." In secret chambers, spies tried to gather intel. They found nothing. Earth's systems were locked tight. Even the few who knew about Judgment 1 refused to speak, and those who tried to approach Earth again disappeared. In the Alvari archives, a historian uncovered an old recording. It showed a young girl floating in a tank, machines connected to her spine, her mind trained through simulations. She had no name then, just a Codem Tanaka. They realized she had been chosen long ago, not just to fly the ship, but to become it, now. That girl was the galaxy's most feared weapon. A human soul inside a machine the Council couldn't understand. Some believed she wasn't human anymore. Others said she had become something more. But no one wanted to find out. One alien merchant on a trade station told a chilling story. He said he found a message scratched into the wall of a drifting escape pod. It read, "It looked at me, and I forgot how to breathe." The pod was empty. No crew, no body. Just the words "Ant, A single strand of black hair. Mira Tanaka sat inside. Judgment 1, deep in its core. Her eyes were closed. Her breathing soft, but her mind was everywhere. She could hear the whispers. The fear, the broken pride. She didn't hate them. She didn't enjoy the fear. She just understood it. They had come to destroy her world. Now they feared a girl raised underground, a machine born of silence. And they were right to be afraid, back on Earth. Still no one knew what had truly happened. The skies remained blue, the oceans calm. A few scientists noticed strange energy readings from the Pacific. But they were told to stop asking questions. Only a few leaders were briefed in shadowed rooms. And all of them agreed on one rule: do not wake her again unless you must. Still, messages kept coming in from across the stars. Warnings, threats, desperate apologies. One message simply asked, "What do you want?" There was no reply. Judgment 1 had gone silent again, hidden somewhere on Earth, waiting, and so. The galaxy changed, borders shifted, alliances broke. No one dared to threaten Earth, not because of its people or weapons, but because of the voice that now haunted their dreams. A voice that had spoken only once, but was remembered forever. Fear had become Earth's new shield. Not walls, not fleets, just one woman and one machine. They had thought humans needed a fleet. They had believed Earth was unguarded. Now they knew the truth. One was enough. In the center of Judgment 1. Behind layers of steel and light, she rested. Mira Tanaka, pilot, soldier. Weapon floated in silence. Her body was still, suspended by soft blue light. Cables connected to her spine. Her temples, her heart, but her mind. Her mind was awake. She didn't sleep like others. She drifted inside the ship's mindscape, a world made of memory, code, and dreams. In that space, she walked alone, barefoot across a black floor that shimmered like stars. Here, she felt the weight of every destroyed ship, every scream, every blast, every pulse of fear. They were all inside her now. She remembered the faces, not of the aliens, but of Earth's lost. Scientists who died building her systems, engineers who worked in the cold, dark bunkers, her own parents, who gave her to the program when she was only 5. They said, "You are Earth's future." And then they were gone. Mira had cried once, just once. It was the day she became one with the machine. After that, no more tears. Only focus, training, silence. The creators of Judgment 1 didn't want a warship. They wanted a mind strong. Enough to stop wars, not to start them. Mira was not just a soldier. She was a warning. Built from pain, born for peace. But when peace failed, she became something no enemy could understand. The alien survivors whispered of her. Some said she had no face. Others believed she was a machine with fake skin. But the truth was harder to face. She was human, fully, painfully human, and that made her terrifying in a small hidden chamber under Earth's crust. 2 old men watched a black screen. On it pulsed a slow heartbeat mirage. "She hasn't moved in 2 days. One said, "That's normal," replied the other. "She's dreaming about what?" The second man stared into the screen, then whispered, "Everything." Meanwhile, in a distant system, Council scientists tried to copy Earth's technology. They built machines shaped like Judgment 1. They connected minds to systems. But each one failed. Some pilots went mad. Some machines exploded. One prototype even attacked its own creators. They didn't understand. Because they were missing the most important part, the human within. Not just any human. Someone who had been broken and rebuilt from the inside. Someone who didn't want to kill but would do so. To protect, Mira floated in the quiet. She walked through her mindscape. Memories flickered around her first training simulation, her teacher's voice. The hum of old machines. She saw a small girl holding a paper star. It was her, long ago, before they removed her name. Her smile, her softness, Judgment One. Felt her heartbeat change. It responded gently, shifting the environment to calm her. The ship cared for her not like a tool, but like a companion. A part of it loved her because she had taught it empathy. When the council had invaded, Mira had not wanted to kill. She waited, watched, gave warnings. Only when they refused to stop then did she strike. Now, she questioned it all. Did she do the right thing? Was there another way? Judgment One spoke to her not with words, but with feeling. It shared her sadness, her questions. But it also showed her the alternative. Earth burning, cities falling, people screaming, and then nothing. A dead world. Mira closed her eyes. In the dream, she whispered, "No." Her fingers tightened slightly, and the ship's heart pulsed with light. She remembered her promise. She didn't exist to be feared. She existed to be the last answer, the one thing that appears when all others fail. In a council meeting, far away, a leader asked, "Should we destroy Earth before she wakes again?" Another replied, "You don't understand. She's always awake." They all sat in silence after that. Because Mira was more than a human, more than a ship, she was a line, the last one. Cross at hand, there would be no second chance. Back in the core, Mira breathed slowly. She had felt a new presence, a scout probe, drifting too close to Earth. It wasn't a threat, not yet, but she saw it, and Judgment One stored its image deep in memory. Ready, if needed. The galaxy had tried to test her once, and it had learned the truth. You can build fleets, you can create weapons, but if you don't understand the heart inside the steel, you've already lost. And Mira Tanaka, the girl with Kit. No childhood, the woman with a machine for a body and a fire for a soul, wasn't a legend. She was still watching. The galaxy had changed, not because of an army, not because of a weapon, but because of one woman. Her name was Mira Tanaka, but to the rest of the stars, she was something else, a myth, a warning. A silent guardian wrapped in steel. They no longer called her human, they called her judgment. No warship moved near Earth anymore. No probe entered its orbit. Even pirates, who feared nothing, avoided the Sol system, because they knew if you came too close, she would know. Mira remained inside Judgment One, not asleep, not fully awake. She drifted in between, like a star. Between two galaxies, watching, listening, waiting. Inside her dream world, she walked alone. But sometimes she saw flashes. A child on a swing, a mother's hand reaching out. A paper star folded perfectly, glowing in the dark. Memories of a life she never got to live, but still carried within her. She didn't hate the council. She didn't hate the enemy. What she hated was war. It had taken everything from her, so she became the thing that could stop it. Far across the stars, rumors still spread. Some believed Earth had built more ships like Judgment One. Others believed Mira had died during the battle. But the ones who had seen her, they never forgot. One Crovy captain, now retired, gave a speech to cadets. He said, "You think strength is numbers, power, engines, shields." He paused, eyes dark. "Then you've never faced a single soul who didn't need any of those." In hidden council rooms, leaders asked, "Should we try again? Should we prepare?" But no one answered, because the truth was written in silence. One ship had erased a fleet. One woman had shaken empires. And they knew if she ever woke angry, nothing would survive. Back on Earth, life slowly moved on. The people still didn't know what had happened above their skies. Their protectors made sure of that. The oceans stayed blue. The forests green, the stars twinkled, holding their secrets close. Only a few on Earth knew where Mira slept, deep under the Pacific. Far below any sonar, Judgment One rested like a sunken temple. Its body silent, smooth, untouched by time, its eyes. Still watching, one day, a young engineer was granted access to the outer shell. He didn't see Myra. He didn't touch the core. He only saw the carvings on the hull. Strange symbols, some human, some alien, some unknown, and one message written. In Earth's oldest language, if you are reading this, you are still alive. That message spread. Printed on shirts, walls, screens. People didn't know its source, but it gave them hope, and maybe. That was her gift. 2. Myra didn't seek thanks. She didn't want glory. She didn't even want to be remembered. All she ever wanted was for no child to be taken like she was. No home burned, no city destroyed. She became the sword so others could put down their shields. In time, a new Starship alliance was formed. Earth was invited. With great care and respect, they accepted, quietly. But made one condition clear. Do not ask about the Pacific, and everyone understood, you. Don't knock on a door that once held fire. You don't test the hand that lets you live. Across the galaxy, statues were built, not of Mira's face, they didn't know it, but of a single ship. Black, sleek eyes, glowing, hovering above a blue and green planet. Beneath it, words carved in stone. One was enough, back inside. The core judgment one pulsed softly. Mira opened her eyes. She felt no danger, just peace. She smiled, small, quiet, real. Because this was what she had fought for. Not fame, not power, but the silence of a sky with no ships. The joy of a planet that didn't even know it had been saved. A world that didn't need fleets anymore, because it had something more powerful than all of them. It had her, and as long as she remained, the stars would remember. The empires would pause, and the dark corners of space would whisper. If you attack Earth prey, she doesn't wake.